What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the WeiJiang oversized KO of the Toyworld Shinebug, their version of a masterpiece Goldbug. So that original Toyworld version was actually quite small. It was more like a chug piece. Then WeiJiang upscaled it. This is actually a combiner. It combines with several other pieces from the ThrottleBots to make a big combiner. I did actually review that a long time ago, but my review style has changed, and I don't think I even showed the transformation. So that was one reason I wanted to look at it. And I was looking for this guy, and luckily my buddy T-Man978, he had one kind of hidden away in a bin. And through a bunch of exchanges and just trading, we ended up getting this for me, and I think I had the Magic Square Prime for him. So we both got what we wanted, and we're happy. But here we are, thanks to T-Man978. We're going to take a look at this guy. And he does actually have some paint on him. We got the silver paint on the headlights, on the arms here, a little bit of red paint there. Some silver paint on the face, gold on the head crest, translucent blue for the eyes. It is light piped, not painted. A little bit of red down here, a little black here on the feet, which we'll see more in the robot mode. Black on the knees, which you don't see in robot mode, or in vehicle mode. Here's the back. Cleans up pretty nice. There's a little bit of killer right here, but it just tucks away nicely overall. I really do like the head sculpt. It's a really nice looking Goldbug head. For articulation, the head is on a ball joint. It goes up to there. The neck itself can move back and forth. Head can go down to there. You do get side to side out of the head, and it rotates all the way around. It is actually quite nice articulation just due to the neck joint being there. Shoulders rotate around on a ball joint. That's how you kind of tell it's a chug piece, but it does feel good. Shoulders go up to there on a hinge, and then up to here on the ball joints. You can get it all the way up like that. Rotation at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow. It's a hinge here and a hinge here. So it bends there and here, and you can get the full bend out of that elbow. There's nothing at the wrist. It just, for transformation, goes in and out. And this one, same thing. It's just an open hand versus a closed hand. You have a rotation at the waist, no ab crunch. Legs will kick up to there, back to there, out to the side, all friction. Again, remember, this is more like a chug style third-party piece. This piece here, it does actually plug in right there. It can sometimes pop out, but it's sort of pegs in there. Where do we leave off? Out to the side, rotation at the thigh around a mushroom peg. Basically 90 degrees at the knee. If you open this panel, you get more, but that's kind of cheating. You have ankle tilt this way, that way. If you bring this down, you can get more out of it. So if you bring the heel spur down, you can get a little bit more. Forward to there, and backward to there. As far as accessories, you just get the gun here, done on black plastic. Does look pretty nice. And this can go into his hand there. It's a good looking gun, and he can blast some Decepticons with that. Now, I believe the original came with some combiner parts. I actually don't have it anymore, so I'm not really sure. But don't really need them because I'm not combining this guy with anybody. But you can, he does end up being the back piece on the ThrottleBot combiner from Toyworld. I just have no need for it because I just want him in individual bot mode. And for some size comparisons, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime, the Masterpiece Blue Streak, and the MP21 Bumblebee, the first version. And you can see it fits in nicely. It's basically the same size as other car bots here. About the same size, and it kind of makes sense because as Goldbug, he was more like a vehicle. I guess he was still a beetle, but kind of like a souped up beetle. But anyway, here he's with the original. He definitely towers over him, but still smaller compared to Optimus, so it works for me. All right, now let's get Shinebug transformed into his vehicle mode. And it's surprisingly complicated transformation. There's a few steps. You really have to get the sequence right. So let's get started. We'll pull the chest forward, and you can unpeg this little blue panel right here. It's actually holding this piece right here. Fold it all the way back. Pull this away. You can pull these outwards on these sliders, and then come to the front and just get these pegged in to the front of the vehicle like that. You can bring this down, accordion this up, and this is going to sit right underneath this windshield. So it looks like that. Get the arms up and out of the way. We'll come to the bottom here and work on these feet. Open up these, accordion that the other direction, slide the door up. Should go all the way up like that. These feet are going to slide upwards. Just get that slid until it's flat down here. Fold in the heel spurs. Fold down the foot so it's flat like this. Come to the bottom. We're going to accordion the leg down. Binary wars, if you will. So it ends up like that. All right, same thing on this side. Fold that down. Slide the foot up so it's flat. Unpeg this from the back. Slide this back and then open up this armature. Bring your foot down and then accordion the leg down on the thigh. Go ahead and take these two legs and peg them together. All right, and make sure that the waist here is straight with this, because you're going to take this whole thing and rotate this 180 degrees so it ends up on the back like that. Bring this down. That's going to peg into the front. There's two little pegs and two little slots right in the front of those legs. Get that pegged in. Leave the doors down, but you can open up these windows and just leave that like that. Doors are kind of the last thing we're going to end up doing here, but that's how it should look. Now we'll work on the hard part. So this part actually has some confusing sequencing. So bring these down so they're out of the way. Pull this backpack backwards. We're going to rotate that 180 degrees. We're next come to the back, open up this panel here. We're going to fold the head back on its ball joint. Bring that back down like this. Close up that panel. Then bring this panel upwards. And that makes the back of the car. That's what it should look like. So it's nice and flat. And now we'll work on these arms. And this is the sequence that's confusing. So you're going to take this panel. It's going to rotate up and end up like that. So make sure you have the armature, the blue armature, angled like that. Take the arm, rotate 180 degrees so you see the ball joint. Rotate this to the other side. We're going to open up this wheel. This is going to flip down and tab in right there. There's a little peg that it tabs into. You're going to unpeg this arm from here, accordion this down, fold the hand down. All right, then we're going to accordion this down and then accordion this down. And you should end up with the wheel right on top of where that ball joint was. So you're going to take this, the shoulder's going to tuck in right in this little corner. It is a tight fit, but it should fit under there. Now we're going to rotate this down just a little bit so you can bring this panel down. And this is the part I think people get stuck on, is you got to do it that sequence, otherwise you'll have a hard time getting this pegged in. See how easy that went in? Now you're going to put this in. It's going to come back up and peg into the back there. And like I mentioned, that's definitely the hardest part of the whole thing, is that sequence. So I'm going to do it again here. We'll go a little bit faster. Rotate this around. Rotate the arm around. Come to the bottom here. Open up the wheel. Rotate it down on the peg. And then rotate that all the way down. Should end up in that wheel well. Unpeg the arm and accordion that down. Rotate the hand down. Then we're going to accordion this down and then this down. So it ends up on top of the ball joint. Take this panel, rotate this up and out of the way. Bring this in, tuck it underneath, shoulder tucks underneath. Fold this down just a little bit so you can bring this panel down. And again, make sure you get that blue armature down, peg that in, then bring this back and peg this in. That really should be the last step on the shoulder pieces. If you don't do it like that, you'll have problems. All right, and make sure the wheel is still in the right position after all that movement. Should be on that little tab. And yeah, everything looks okay. All right, last few steps here. Take this roof, bring this down on this slider. Slide that down. that little peg there is going to fit underneath. So that's why you're going to do the doors last. So give it a little push and then push it back in. Make sure everything's lined up. Last tip here, take the doors. There's a peg here and a tab here that's going to go into there. So line those up. Make sure you have this closed all the way up. And then before you actually give it a push, take a look. That looks right. Same on this side and this window closed up. Line those up. And give that a push and tab that in. Last step here, come to the bottom and take the gun. These two smaller ends here are going to end up as exhaust. So kind of line that up. And that should just peg in right on the bottom, nice and secure. And there is Shinebug in his vehicle mode. And I think it's a pretty good looking vehicle. It obviously looks like a Mini Cooper, which is not the alt mode for Goldbug, but it is a good looking alt mode, I'd say that. You got the painted headlights here, painted grille in black, translucent red for the signal lights down there, painted silver rims, painted silver for the door handle, red light with a little black accent there, painted red for the tail lights, black, little brake light there, reflectors down here, a little more black down here, and then the gun works perfectly as an exhaust. Overall, really nice. It does have translucent windows all the way around. The roof is black. And you have painted windshield wipers. It does roll nicely. It's pretty solid vehicle. You know, the way it transforms. There's a little bit of trickiness to it, but overall, pretty cool looking vehicle. And for size comparisons, there is next to MP10 Optimus Prime and the Masterpiece Smokescreen. It does seem to be a little bit big in the vehicle mode. It's supposed to be a Mini Cooper, and it is Goldbug after all, so it's should be a little bit smaller, but at least it's smaller than the truck, but it should be smaller than this guy too, or maybe the same size, but there you go for comparison. So final recommendations on the WeiJiang KO Throttlebot Shinebug or Goldbug. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. It's a fun robot. It's really good in robot mode. I like how it looks. It's got that nice, chunkier look for Goldbug. The vehicle mode obviously doesn't really look like Goldbug, but it's passable. It's a little bit on the big side. But as far as, alt mode, Mini Cooper is fine. Yeah, it's just kind of a special thing. Now, this is back in the day when third party used to just kind of do their own take on things. So when Toyworld made this figure, it was sort of like a unique take on Goldbug, not necessarily a G1 Goldbug. And I kind of like it. I kind of like that it's a little bit different. But either way, it's pretty cool. The vehicle mode does feel a little bit on the big side to me. And it also does, feel a little bit aged. Now, at the price point they were doing it back then, it was $40. That's pretty good. Now I just went and looked. It's a lot more. So don't overpay for this guy. It is ultimately a oversized chug piece. So it really should be priced that way. $40, $50 at the most. But if you're paying, masterpiece prices, definitely not worth it. I would give it a pass. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.